Episode 57. The CEO gives a massage. Jade and Dario laid down at the same time. Only then did they realize that the waterbed conformed perfectly to the curves of their bodies. No matter how they changed their sleeping posture, the bed would support the weight of their bodies evenly. There was no feeling of sinking at all. It was many times more comfortable than the small wooden bed Jade slept on at the dormitory. Although the sales clerk had deliberately tried to avoid it, Jade became very embarrassed. Just as she was about to get up, Dario pressed her under his body and leaned close to her ear. In a deep voice he said, "You can lie down for longer if you like. How is it? Is it comfortable?" Jade didn't want to lie to him, so she nodded. He was a little surprised. This was the first time she revealed her true thoughts to him. He expected her to refuse because of the price. "If you feel comfortable, we will buy this waterbed. Maybe we can use it tonight." Dario narrowed his eyes and kept looking at her white and red face. When he talked about using it, he seemed serious, as if he was saying that they would use it for things other than sleeping. As for what they would use it for, they both knew in their hearts. She recalled what he had done to her in the car. A strange feeling arose in her heart again. She turned her head away and pretended not to hear him. "Yes, we'll buy this. We'll have a bed to sleep in at night. It's good to choose slowly. I'll go back to the dormitory first." Just as she was about to talk about the dormitory, Dario quickly got up and said to the sales clerk, who had been waiting, "We'll buy this." "Ah, it's decided so soon?" Jade said in surprise. "Of course. I can't wait to go home with you to try it out," Dario whispered in her ear. "Dario, if you say that again, I will leave. I won't look any more," Jade said as she pouted. She felt a bit angry. Did Dario have any shame? There was a stranger right beside him. "Then I'll talk about it when we go home and no one else is around." Dario held her hand. He was afraid that she would leave, so he increased his grip on her hand. Then he said to the sales clerk, "Take us to see other furniture." They picked furniture for the entire afternoon and didn't finish until dinner time. After walking for so long, they were both tired. "Come and take a look at this sofa." Just as they were about to leave, Dario suddenly grabbed Jade and pulled her in front of a sofa. "But didn't you see it just now?" "Sit down." Jade was wondering what was going on when Dario forced her to sit down. She wanted to say that she should leave, but Dario suddenly squatted down and took off her high heels. "Dario, what are you doing?" Dario didn't say anything. He just quietly started massaging her feet. She tried to pull her feet away but realized that she couldn't because he was holding her. She couldn't move at all. Although it made her feel warm in her heart, she really couldn't take it anymore. She rarely wore high heels, and now he was personally massaging her feet. It was unbelievable. Jade looked at his serious and handsome face. She felt her heart begin to palpitate. Enough! But Dario still had no intention of stopping. He started massaging her calves as well. Even the salesperson seemed shocked. "Mr. Foster is really considerate to Mrs. Foster." The sales clerk envy made Jade feel even more ashamed. This was the first time a man had ever massaged her feet. "Are your feet still sore?" Dario asked as if there was no one else around. "No, I'm fine." Jade blushed and wanted to put her shoes back on, but Dario was faster than her. She had not really expected that he would massage her feet in the store. When they were done resting, they got up to leave. Jade thought that meeting Ivana and Bruce that day was about the unluckiest thing that could have happened. She didn't expect that she could be even less fortunate that day. As soon as they walked out of the main door of the Furniture City, they ran into Bruce's mother and his oldest sister. Jade had met them a few times, so they knew each other. But because of Jade's family, they always looked down on her. When Bruce's older sister, Amelia Stevens, saw Jade in such a high-class place, she was very surprised. Amelia Stevens toured Jade several times, but she couldn't believe that it was really her. A country bumpkin becoming rich and beautiful? Jade originally didn't want to bother with Amelia and wanted to leave quickly, but Amelia deliberately walked in front of them. When she saw Jade's face clearly, Amelia was even more surprised. "Jade, it really is you." Then Amelia noticed the man beside her. At first, she just looked because she was curious about what kind of man Jade had found. But she was totally shocked when she saw Dario's face. God! She couldn't believe that there was actually someone as handsome as he was in the world. She was drawn in by his cold exterior, sharp eyes, and noble temperament. At that moment, Amelia felt that her heart was stolen by this man, who was even more handsome than the celebrities she had seen on TV. Her eyes were tainted with admiration and love. Jade noticed that something had changed about Amelia's eyes when she saw her look at Dario, but she didn't know what was going on in her heart. It made Jade a little uncomfortable, as if her things were going to be snatched away by someone. She frowned slightly and couldn't help but move forward to block Dario. She didn't want to see it, but even Jade, who was wearing high heels, she couldn't stop Dario's handsome face either. Although people often looked at him, Jade had never felt so disgusted. Jade, you really are capable. You just got dumped by my brother but quickly found another man? Amelia's eyes were filled with disdain, and there was a trace of jealousy in her words. Amelia couldn't believe that such a handsome man was actually standing beside Jade. Amelia thought that together they looked like a flower stuck in cow dung, where Jade was the cow dung. I already said that a man cannot have a woman who is below his social status. Their family backgrounds need to match, said Mrs. Stevens, who was standing at the side and was dressed very well. Her eyes were filled with disgust of Jade. She'd never liked Jade to begin with, and now that she saw how quickly Jade had found another man after getting dumped by her son, her impression of Jade became even worse. Amelia stared intently at the hands that were holding Jade. She was unhappy and jealous in her heart. Jade? Is this man your new boyfriend? Amelia couldn't imagine how Jade could have found a man like Dario. I am her husband. Just as Amelia said boyfriend, a cold voice suddenly sounded and interrupted her. What? Husband? How could that be? Amelia looked surprised, and her eyes were full of disbelief. She stared at Dario, but Dario was only looking at Jade the whole time. He didn't even glance at Amelia. Hubby, I'm so tired, let's go home. Jade didn't want to argue with Amelia. She gently leaned her body against Dario, and her voice became soft. Dario narrowed his eyes and held Jade tightly. He hugged her waist and gladly accepted her raw embrace. This was the first time Jade had called him by that special name.